The Roman Empire of the 1st century A.D. was no easy place in which to maintain a faithful Christian witness. Thus, when Paul writes to the young church at Rome, the epicenter of imperial hostility to the faith, his letter is filled with both compassion for their situation, along with foundational teaching and admonishment to equip and challenge them to be clear about who they are and what their calling before God looks like. Paul spends 11 chapters of the epistle in a careful exposition of the pagan culture that surrounds his readers, the gospel foundation that undergirds them, and the way of life to which God is calling them in this most uncongenial of mission fields. The church at Rome was set in the midst of a thoroughly pagan culture devoted to the many gods of the classical pantheon. But the clearest and most potent opposition to the worship of the one true God in Rome was its cult of emperor worship. Caesar was commonly referred to as God, or God's Son, God made manifest, Lord or Lord of the whole world, and Savior. The Lord's Day was, for Romans, dedicated to the worship of Caesar. Statues, monuments, architecture, and inscriptions multiplied the claims of Caesar's lordship. Processions, festivals, sacrifices, hymns, and poetry honoring him filled the public life of the city, and every person in Rome was compelled to be part of it all. Together, this made for a sophisticated propaganda program designed to mold each citizen into a loyal servant of Caesar in every moment and every arena of life's activities. Those who worshipped and served another Lord would have no easy time of it. Paul offers his readers a double counterweight to the formidable molding force of Roman culture. First, he urges the young church to understand Roman idolatry for what it is, at heart, a simple mutiny against the God who made them, expressed in the worship of created things instead of the Creator. The whole cult and culture of Rome and her emperor is based, Paul says, on idolatry, and idolatry is always dehumanizing and leads to injustice, immorality, and death. Second, Paul presents the alternative, the bedrock truth of God's work in Jesus Christ, anticipated in his long and patient history with Israel, and revealed at last in truth and power by the life, death, resurrection, and triumph of God's only Son. Christ alone is the Lord to whom all mortal leaders must ultimately bow, the founder of the one, true, everlasting kingdom. All of this, Paul says, is evidence of God's mercy. In the face of the worst examples of human rebellion and depravity, God remains faithful to his covenant. The very existence of the believers in Rome is an emblem of that faithfulness, that mercy.